Carol Embden-Robinson, who was a vendor and an ancillary worker at Dinthill Technical High School, is laid to rest following a Thanksgiving service in Linstead, St. Catherine. Her husband, who is visually impaired, was among people showing their last respect.
Carol gone, but you is beside me.
There were also many moving tributes.
You know, it's good that when a person dies, you can hear some good things. You're not making it up. It's reality. It's real.
Many people had many good things to say about the late Carol Embden-Robinson, who lived at Victoria District in Linstead, St. Catherine. And the good thing is that, according to Reverend Sophia Azan, no lies were told.
You know, it's good that when a person dies, you can hear some good things. You're not making it up. It's reality. It's real.
One of the things that impressed Reverend Azan is that Embden-Robinson and her husband Winston were keeping it real with each other and with God. They worshipped him at Bread of Life Ministries in Linstead, the same church where the Thanksgiving service was held for Embden-Robinson on Saturday, April 29, 2023.
From the day Winston gave his life to the Lord and Carol, they have never looked back. Never. Everything, every service, anything at all that you can think of. Brother Winston, even when Carol cannot come, he is here to everything, to anything you can think of. Put your hands together for a wonderful saint of God.
During the Thanksgiving service, Winston, who is now visually impaired, made it known that his faith in God had not been shaken by his loss.
Carol gone, but you is beside me.
Embden-Robinson, who was a vendor and an ancillary worker at Dinthill Technical High School in Linstead, passed away on Friday, March 21, 2023. She had a headache.
On the morning of March 21st, Grandma went to Dinthill and returned home. She was okay all day until she had a sudden headache and a pain in her hand. As usual, tea is a remedy to all Grandma's pain, so we attempted to prepare some to get release from the pain she was feeling. Unfortunately, Grandma did not get a chance to drink her tea. While preparing it, she passed out and then rushed to Linstead Hospital, where she was pronounced dead.
Gretel Embden, who delivered the remembrance, explained how she heard about her sister's death.
While I was on the veranda, my phone rang. I picked up the phone and I answered. When I answered the phone, it was my niece, Rika. She said to me in a little voice, like she nice here, you know? Auntie Colette, Mommy's in the hospital. I said, what? What happened to her? She said, she dropped down and she cannot talk. I said, what? I said, all right, keep me posted. I hung up the phone and I said to my spouse that I don't like to hear these things because that was exactly what happened to my grandmother. She was in the kitchen, she was cooking, and she fainted. She didn't talk. She went to the hospital. On her way, she died. Bam, the phone rang again. I did not hear somebody talking, but all I can hear is crying in the background. I said, Jesus Christ, Carol dead. And from there, I was weak. I couldn't take it.
Embden-Robinson's first of 5 children, Reuben Laws, also did a tribute, a song he had written for his mom.
I love you, mommy. It's true. Cross my heart, I for you. I'm gonna see no one.
On the day Embden-Robinson died, she had just returned from Dinthill Technical High School, where she had been employed since November 2017, doing janitorial and tuck shop duties. The school's principal, Anthony Garwood, along with other members of staff and students, attended the Thanksgiving service.
Flipping through a file and glance at her last evaluation, her interpersonal skills are worth emulating. She built and maintained rapport with management, colleagues, and students, worked cooperatively with her team, exert positive influence on other peers, and contribute to the harmony among all staff. Her personal decorum and dress were always appropriate. She displayed the expected competence in carrying out her assigned tasks. She was one employee who managed change effectively. She was sober and confident in her doing.
Garwood further stated that he, the school's Board of Management, staff, and past Students Association are all shocked and saddened by the passing of Embden-Robinson.
Today, we are still reeling from the untimely death of Miss Carol, as we affectionately call her. We are shocked and scared knowing that she was among our colleagues, among us shortly before her passing. We seek to make sense of this, to understand the reason why this happened, and what possible meaning or lesson this is. Well, people will tell us it is God's plan, or that is just Miss Carol's time to go, that it is that she is in a better place. But we cry out that while God continues and knows the plan, we must work with his plan. Miss Carol Embden-Robinson may indeed be in a better place now, but we'll certainly miss her greatly.
Garwood also made it clear that the bereaved family can always call on the school for support. A group of students ended the institution's tribute with a song.
Going up yonder to be with my Lord.
One of Embden-Robinson's daughters, Akeelia Robinson, did a dance, the same one she did at the church on 2 previous occasions. Her mother enjoyed it then and no doubt would have loved it now.
I know you're scared, your heart's bleeding.
Embden-Robinson was born on November 8, 1963 to Venita and Frank Embden at Berry Hill District in Gobey, St. Catherine. Embden-Robinson spent her childhood living at a different point with her parents and her grandparents. In pursuit of literacy and numeracy, she was enrolled at Berry Hill Basic School and later Berry Hill All Age, which has been renamed Berry Hill Primary. Her family stated that when she was 16 years old, she was successful in the grade 9 achievement test, but her educational progress was affected by financial constraints. Embden-Robinson eventually learned the skill of sewing, and that became her lifelong passion.
As the time progressed, sewing was not enough for my grandmother, so her parents sent her to commercial college, where she learned and gained knowledge and skill in shorthand typing. Mavis wanted to give her child the best, so she went to market to sell produce so that she can finance Carl's studies. My grandma was a natural. She excelled in her shorthand typing studies and was awarded a certificate of excellence in shorthand typing. In advancing her sewing skill, Grandma was also enrolled in a dressmaking school so that her sewing craft could be developed.
Embden-Robinson, in her late teens, started attending the Spanish Town-based MC Commercial College, where she did a course in shorthand typing. She got pregnant shortly after. Embden-Robinson later met and fell in love with Winston, who went on to become her husband and the father of her 4 other children.
On the 9th of September 2009, Winston and Carol got married after being together for 26 years. In that same year, Carl gave her life to the Lord.
Winston was a higgler, and so Embden-Robinson went to the market with him until she started her own small business as a vendor.
Grandma started her own little hustling, where she would set up shop at the front of Vandal's shoe store in Linstead, and while doing this, she gained employment at the betting game outlet, where she would work on a part-time basis. After the closing of Vandal's shoe store, my grandma continued her selling, but this time at the front of Miss Jackie's seasoning shop. Grandma was a progressive, driven, and ambitious woman. Therefore, she didn't limit herself to selling alone. She continued her entrepreneurship career, putting her sewing skills learned from Miss Jean and the dressing-making school into practice. She began making uniforms, skirt suits, dresses, and runners for resale at her house in Victoria.
In pursuit of further financial independence, Embden-Robinson successfully sought employment at Dinthill Technical High School.
Grandma was a hard-working woman. She worked Mondays through Fridays at Dinthill, went to Linstead to sell her goods on Saturdays, and then went to church on Sunday. No matter how exhausted she was, she went to church every Sunday morning and on time too. Grandma had a heart of gold. She was humbled, compassionate, lovable, generous, and supportive, and most of all, selfless. My grandma was a gift giver. No matter how small it was, you knew you could expect something from her on special occasions like birthdays, Father's Day, and Mother's Day. Even if the day had passed and you didn't receive your gift, best believe that she would be bringing something the next day or a few days later. I don't know how Grandma does it, but she never forgets important days.
In the remembrance, Embden-Robinson's sister recalled them living at their parents' place in Berry Hill, having a lot of fun, including going to the river and picking mangoes. She added that Embden-Robinson was known to be humble even during childhood, unless someone seriously provoked her.
Carol was a humble soul. At one point, Carol used to look like a Christmas peony. She put on her clothes and going out Christmas Day, and a guy looked at her and said, "Wow, what a girl look like Christmas peony." And she said, "What?" She said, "What a girl look like Christmas peony." And from that day, Carol got the name Christmas Peony. So everybody called her Christmas Peony. All right, Carol at home and we have fun. Carol's very nice, humble, but she can be very cross if you trouble her. So don't trouble Carol, you know, she will fight you. She would fight and fight hard. I can remember one time at school, a girl troubled Carol and she did the girl very bad. And everybody was surprised because they didn't know Carol would do that.
The sister further stated that Embden-Robinson grew into a loving, kind woman.
Carol was so loving. She was so nice. She was like, I can't explain the things about my sister. I can't tell you so much because it's too much to talk. Carol was a very, very humble, nice, quiet, and decent person. She loved her kids very much. She loved her nieces, her nephews, her cousins. Every time I pass at Linstead, Carol always there to hand out something to somebody. My grandson, my granddaughter, if they pass, she always give them something. My granddaughter is at Dinthill, and whenever I'm unable to attend the meeting, I could just call on Carol and say, "Carol, I can't come to meeting today. You can't just go over to the PTA meeting and sit in and listen what is happening." And I could rely on her to do anything and to go to anyone at Dinthill and do whatever I ask her.
Other people who participated in the Thanksgiving service included Embden-Robinson's daughter Althea Robinson, who read the first Bible lesson along with her sister Akelia, as well as nieces Shantoy and Abigail, who read the second lesson. There were also tributes from two Linstead vendors who did a song, Berry Hill Primary School, Linstead New Testament Church of God, and Deacon Monica White, who represented the Bread of Life Ministry's Women of Worth Fellowship. While delivering the sermon, Reverend Howard Tyson, who turned 51 on the day of the Thanksgiving service, said he met Embden-Robinson at the Bread of Life Ministries. They actually spoke 1 or 2 days before death intervened. The clergyman encouraged people to live each day as though it is their last.
Not mourning because Carol is going to be with our Lord. The difference is that Carol never knew the time death would come. And I'm saying to all of us inside this building, you have to live each day as your last. In order to be a blessed dead, you got to know Jesus as Lord and Savior. We are not mourning today because we know one day we shall see her. Because what God is technically telling you, if you continue to hold on to this world, all it provides for you is sin, crosses, nothing but worries.
He further stated that Embden-Robinson was a blessing to the world. The Thanksgiving service ended. Pallbearers brought the casket from the sanctuary to the hearse. And then it was time for the trip, covering several miles from the church in Linstead to the deep rural community of Berry Hill in Gobay, where Embden-Robinson's life started. Her return was heralded partly by a marching band's performance. Taking the casket from the hearse to the graveside required much effort on an unpaved road, but pallbearers proved equal to the task. Embden-Robinson eventually reached her final earthly resting place, a grave painted in black and yellow. Those were the same colors that most bereaved relatives wore. Even the late Embden-Robinson was dressed in them. There was weeping during interment. One of Embden-Robinson's sisters, the one who held her composure and delivered the remembrance moments earlier, eventually broke down in tears.
We therefore commit her body to its resting place, but her spirit we commend to God in assurance that He does all things well. For we know that if our earthen tent we live in is destroyed, we have a building from God, an eternal home, not built by human hands. We therefore, sorry the pops, I know you got through pressure. We therefore commit this body to the ground. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
On the behalf of senior videographer Dean Alcott, I am Horace Mills reporting for the Jamaica Beacon in Linstead, St. Catherine.